Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. My name's Sarah, nice to meet you. Today we are filming my Plano Eyeshadows intro for 2021. I have been looking forward to filming this intro for so long. Here we are, January 1st, filming the intro. I'm very excited. If you are not new to my channel and you were around last year for the start of 2020, you know that I did film an intro to this project, and unfortunately I just couldn't stick with this project last year. 2020 was just too crazy. You were all there, you know. I did do this back in, I believe I started in 2018 towards the end of the year, and then I kept it going through 2019. So I really do enjoy this project and I love seeing other people do it. It's one of my favorite projects to watch other people do. If you didn't already know, this project was created by Alexy, so I will leave her channel link down below. If you haven't already checked her out and you really enjoy project panning, you'll definitely love her channel, and she also is very creative with her makeup, so I really... Well, that was rude. My dog just interrupted me. Hi! You coming in? Sorry if you can hear my dog walking around. She's, of course, every time I sit down to film. What I was saying is make sure you go check out Alexy's channel. You will really enjoy her content if you haven't already subscribed to her channel. If you don't already watch her, she's also doing vlogs now, which I really enjoy because she has horses, so that's been fun to keep up with. I don't really know what this project is. It is basically just a roulette style rolling project, so depending on who's doing it, you pick like 5 or 6 eyeshadows. I think most people do it more roulette style where they just randomize some shadows into their projects, and then the goal is just to kind of hit pan on the eyeshadows. Again, rules kind of switch up depending on who you're watching, but I believe what I did in like 2019 was I had, I believe, 6 shadows, and I was just trying to hit pan on them all. So pretty straightforward. I randomly selected them, tried to hit pan on them, and then when I would hit pan, I would roll them out and roll in something in its place. That's pretty much close to what we're going to be doing this year. So for my project, I'm going to actually be picking 6 shadows to work on. 5 of them will be roulette style, like randomized. I have a spreadsheet with every single pan listed of eyeshadow, whether they're in palettes or like single eyeshadows. They're all listed if they are powdered or cream shadows that are in pans, like the ColourPop Super Shock shadows, you know? So all of those are listed out. I'm going to use the Pretty Random app to pick 5 numbers that correspond to that spreadsheet, and those will be the shadows that I'm working on. As a little bonus, my 6th shade I'm actually going to pick myself. I saw It's Just Steph do this last year during her pan those eyeshadows, and I liked the concept of that because I think with this project, like in the past, I have gotten a little bored of working on the shades that I didn't pick myself. Like I wanted like slightly more control over what shades I was working on, and I think this will be a nice way for me to work on some palettes that I do want to see pan in. Like I have some specific palettes that I really want to start seeing some pan in this next year, and figured why not just kind of have a 6th shade that I am able to pick, and then when I roll that out, I would just pick another shade in its place to roll in. I just wanted to kind of show these. I feel like I'll probably be picking a lot of shades from these 3 palettes. So I have the Studio Makeup On The Go Cool Down palette, the ABH Master palette by Mario, and then I also have the Lorac. I believe this was the Little Black palette. It's discontinued now, but just has these 4 baked eyeshadows in it. These are palettes that I really do want to see pan in going forward. I've kind of been, playing around with the idea of potentially doing a pan that palette with these at some point. So just for example, I was thinking that I might roll in that 6th shade from one of those palettes depending on how well it goes with the color story. Also, I can see myself, picking a newer palette if there's a new one that I really want to start working on, trying to kind of pan or just kind of make sure that I am reaching for it. It really depends, I think, on how the color story turns out with our 5 randomized shades. Obviously, the main goal is to try and hit pan on the shades that are in this, but I am going to be giving myself basically the rule that it's like that I can roll out a shade if I've used it 15 times. I'm not gonna have to have the product in for a certain number of times, so if like I use it 15 times in a month, I can roll it out. This is just so that I can continue to rotate through my shadows. I don't want to get stuck on any one shadow for too long because that's just not what I want out of this that's not what I want out of this project. If I have used it 15 times and there still isn't pan, but there's like a really nice dip going, I'll probably choose to continue to work on it because I will want to see pan, and at that point like I would already be so close anyways. But if it's like a shade, you know, just a formula that's maybe like a matte formula, it's super hard pressed, like super tightly pressed, and I've used it 15 times and there's no dip in sight, then yeah, I'm probably going to roll it out and start working on something else. As far as like what eyeshadows I can pull into this project, I have listed out every single pan of eyeshadow, and again, this includes like ones that are in palettes. It includes my Super Shock shades. It has all my singles. There's no liquid shadows in here and no loose pigments or glitters. I also did not include my pressed glitters, so if there's, you know, some of my like ColourPop palettes that have pressed glitters in them, I just didn't enter in the pan of the pressed glitter into my spreadsheet for this project. And as far as it goes for like black shadows, I definitely do not want to be working on a ton of black shades. I don't think I would be able to hit pan on them, and I think I would get bored of working on them. I'm gonna play it by ear. I don't have like the black shadows, like they are entered into my spreadsheet, so if I do happen to roll one in, I might have to re-roll. Obviously, this is my project pan, and if anything is not working for me or I'm just really struggling with any particular shade, I can choose to just roll it out of the project without hitting any sort of usage goal on it. Like if I'm just like, I've used it once, don't like it, I could choose to roll it out if I so choose. I don't see myself doing that a ton, but if I came across like a dud shade or something in a palette, then yeah, I'm not going to spend time trying to pan something that I don't enjoy using. So the other thing I will mention before we randomize our numbers from the Pretty Random app, I do have over 3,000 pans of eyeshadow. I know that that will sound absolutely ridiculous to some people, but eyeshadows are my thing. I love them. I love eyeshadow palettes. Yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a warning that it is, you know, over 3,000 pans of eyeshadow. And that's, I mean, this isn't eyeshadow palettes, this is like individual pans. I have a lot of single shadows and I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes, so it adds up, right? So yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a warning because I know I'm gonna get a ton of comments about how many shadows I have and everything, but it is what it is, and I actually don't have an issue with it. So we're gonna go ahead and randomize these shades. I'm really nervous. Okay, so as I'm pulling up my app and just putting in all of the, you know, min and max and all of that, I just wanted to say I have filmed, this is my third video that I'm filming today, and my makeup is not holding up well today. I don't know what's going on with it, but it's just not looking super duper cute. So also, if you notice that this is like the same makeup and shirt and hair and everything from some of my other videos I posted recently, that's why, because I am just, today's New Year's, I have the day off, I'm just filming all the videos. Okay, for my Pretty Random app, I am putting in my min as 2 because I do have, obviously, like the first row in my spreadsheet is like the column header names and stuff, so I don't count that one. And then we are going up to 3,249. So again, my goal is not to get my numbers to be like a specific percentage. I think last year I was putting a lot of a lot of pressure on myself to come up with like a good number to aim for in terms of like pan percentage. Like I obviously do want to see pan in my palettes, especially in like older palettes, and I really would love to see pan. I'm not going to be able to get to like 20% of my eyeshadows have pan in them by the end of the year or anything like that. So really just want to work on as many shadows as I can. I have my random number generator. I hope you guys can see it pretty well. So I'm just going to shake it and we're going to get our first number. Ooh, okay. 2,249. So I'm just going to, I have like the history up here, so I'm just going to go ahead and do 4 more. So, okay, and we got 206, 2,369. 1,570. Okay, how many was that? One more. Okay, 1,802. Okay, here we go. Okay. Oh, well, this is going to be. Oh no! I'm gonna go grab that palette. So then the next number, what's in order? 1,570. So let's. Okay. Isn't that is a shadow. All right. And then the next number was 1,802. Ooh, okay. It's like a brand new palette. Okay, the next one was 2,249. Okay. That's a good palette. Our last randomized shade was 2,369. Is that right? Oh my gosh. Yes, I'm finally in the cool kids club. You'll find out. You'll find out. I'm kind of having so much like fun randomizing things. I kind of just want to like randomize the 6th shade too, but I kind of just want to randomize it. Oh, I wish you guys could help me decide in real time. I'm just having so much fun with it. You know, but I do really want to be able to pick like a palette to hit Pam in. Okay, the first shade comes from a palette that oh god, I just looked at which one it was. It's gonna be a little cray. So this is a palette I literally have like never used. I kind of bought it on impulse because I kind of had the collector's mentality of like, oh, I have to buy all of them. And it is one of the Norvina mini palettes. So this is Norvina Volume 3, the cherry one. So this is obviously a very colorful palette and these are like pro pigment, so I'm kind of assuming that this is going to be a little hard to pan. This is what the palette looks like, but the one that I did pull is this one right here. It's just B2 is like the name of it. They don't really do shade names for these, so that's it right there in the middle. Oh my goodness. I'm going to swatch it for you. I am very nervous for this shade because I think it's beautiful and I'm really like, that was not a good swatch. I do think this will be a fun shade to work with, but it's right there. Hopefully, yeah, I think you guys can see it. I didn't do the best swatch. So we have just this like sky blue shade. Okay, so that's shade number 1. I pulled 2 shades that are kind of more of that like lighter cream shade that I would probably use to like set my eye base down and then blend eyeshadows on top of, but they have slightly different undertones, but I just don't really think that it'll be okay to have both of them in the project. The next shade that I pulled, so I'm going to show you both of them, so I'm kind of showing them out of order and I'm a little nervous. So the first one that I pulled is it's the shade Classic, and this is actually from the Melt Rust stack, so not the Rust palette, which I do own, but the Rust stack. So I depotted all of my melt stacks because I never reached for them. So I am going to be keeping this shade in, I think, but it is just kind of it's like a yellow undertoned cream shade. Let me go ahead and swatch it. I think you guys can hopefully see it's swatched just under the blue. I don't know if it's showing up. It's hard to tell from my viewfinder, but it's pretty much my skin tone. Totally fine to work on one of these, but I definitely cannot do 2. So let me show you the other shade. I'm really upset because it comes from my Urban Decay Born to Run palette, and I really wanted to work on this palette because I always see people panning it in their Plano's eyeshadows, but the shade I pulled is Breakaway, which is also a cream kind of shadow, and I don't know, I feel like this one is also matte, so I would use it for the exact same thing to just set down my eye base. So I can't have 2 of those. I just feel like that wouldn't be fun, so I am going to unfortunately have to re-roll for this, which is sad because I really wanted to work on a shade from that palette. Let me randomize another shade really quickly. I'm gonna go grab that palette, then we'll continue on with our color story. So just shake that, and all right, so we have 2,791. So this is another brand new palette to my collection. So I just pulled our 5th shade, but going back to our 3rd shade, I did pull the Natasha Denona Glam palette. This is also pretty new to my collection. I actually have not had a chance to play around with this one yet. And the one that I pulled is this shade right here. The shade names on here are like weird. It says outer eyelid, but you know, I mean, you can really do whatever you want with these. So it's just this shade right here. Let me go ahead and swatch it. We're off to a very interesting color story. This shade is really, really beautiful. Definitely could do like a smokier look with this shade. So far, don't think I would pair the blue with that shade, but you know, maybe. I also pulled my Tartlette in Bloom, and the shade that I got from this palette is this one right here in the shade Leader. I'm a little nervous for this because I feel like these are not easy shades to hit pan in. I feel like when I've watched other people pan them, it's like not the easiest. I do have some wear in this palette already, so at least there's that, but I feel like this shade isn't something I necessarily reached for the whole time, so I could definitely see myself pairing those two shades together for kind of a bronzy, kind of smoky eye for sure. I just bought this palette, literally just got to me in the mail I think a couple of days ago, so I have not had a chance to play around with it, but it is the Lorac Pro palette. This is the Noir shade, and I actually bought these because I heard someone talking about them and I was just very intrigued. I have not used Lorac eyeshadows in such a long time. This palette's very interesting. So this is what it looks like. It's got the mirror. I'm trying not to blind you. So let me try this again. So you can pull this up, right? And then on the back here, you can actually pop out the shades. So you can rearrange it, you can easily depot it, and then put them back. The shade that I got is Primrose, which is, try and hold this up, it's actually this one right here. So this is definitely also a cool toned palette, so we're not getting a ton of variation in our color story. Definitely okay with that shade. I hope you guys can see it there. Ooh, look at that. Yes, I love that. Okay, very interesting color story. Not sure how I feel about it. I kind of think I could pair the blue with this because it's kind of got a little bit of a pink tone to it. This is where I kind of just want to randomize a sixth shade because I don't know what to pick. I have a lot of cooler tones, so I don't know if I really need to pull something from here because like we've already got so many cool tones. But on the other hand, I could just pull this shade and then we'd have a transition shade for some of these, and I feel like they'd be really easy to pair together. So I think that's what I'm going to do because I've been wanting to hit pan on this shade for a while because there's such a huge dip in it. Okay, I hope you guys can see as I kind of move the palette around, like hopefully you can see that there's like that huge dip in there. So I think that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I am going to go ahead and pull this shade here as my sixth shade. I don't think it has a name. It's just a matte, like a cool toned matte brown. It doesn't swatch the best, but it's right there. So it's a lot more cool toned than I was thinking that it would be. I definitely enjoy my cool tones, but I am definitely more like of a warm neutrals kind of gal at heart, but I do really love my like taupey, you know, browns, taupey, cool tone shades as well. So my Plano Attack for this, you know, first month, thinking about just my goals and kind of going one by one through the shades. So for the shade that I pulled in, which again is just from the Studio Makeup, it's very softly pressed. So I do not think I will have any issue. I do think I can hit pan on this by my first update for sure. Like there's already a huge dip there. So my goal, I'm really going to try and focus in on that shade and get some pan in this palette. This is a palette I would like to prep for potentially doing a pan that palette at some point. And then this one, because it is like absolutely brand spanking new to my collection, I'm not too worried. If I hit pan on it, I hit pan on it. These are pretty small pans, so I do think I could hit pan on it pretty quickly, and it is a shimmer shade and it does seem pretty softly pressed, so I can see myself hitting pan on this by my first update, but I'm not going to focus in on this one just because it is newer to my collection. So if it takes me longer to hit pan, that is fine by me. So this Tartlette in Bloom shade, I would like to just reach for this at least 5 times this month. And then again, I have my Glam palette, which is also very new to my collection. I haven't really dug into it. That was like one of the first times I swatched it. So for this one, I do want to, again, kind of okay with taking my time on it. I'm not sure how deep these pans are, and I've never hit pan on a Natasha Denona shade. This won't be my priority until I've gotten some of these other shades out of the way. The classic shade from Melt, I'm not worried about in the slightest. I think I'm just going to use it to set my eyeshadow base, my eyeshadow primer down. I think eventually I will hit pan on it. I'm not too worried about it. And then we have our blue, sky blue shade right here. Yeah, this one, I'd say I'd like to get this rolled out in the first month. I don't know if that's going to happen. I feel like it doesn't quite go with some of these other shades. So my goal will be to use this 5 times, just see what I like to use it with, see how it pairs with some of these other shades. I don't think I'll be able to use it with all of them, but I definitely would love to use this palette as a whole. Maybe a couple of times this month, that would be cool. I'm going to try and take pictures this month of the eye looks that I create. Probably will forget at times to take pictures, but I'm going to do my best to remember. Let me know what color combinations you would recommend. If you discount the blue, we have a very cohesive color story that I'm not too worried about. But yeah, if you're like, oh, that blue and that insert shade name here would go great together, let me know. Let me know if you've ever panned anything from any of these palettes before, and let me know how long it took you to hit pan on things, because I would love to have a ballpark, you know, go in knowing a little bit more about what to expect, because I don't think I have panned any of these formulas. So anyways, I hope you guys are doing well, staying safe, and all of that. So I will see you all in my next video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching. And definitely leave me a comment down below, especially let me know if you're doing this project. I would love to check out your intro. That's it for me. I will see you all in my next video. Bye.